We're going to call the meeting to order and take up the legislative issues first and foremost because we don't have a quorum. So we're going to call the meeting to order, and let's all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, since we don't have a quorum, we're going to revert to the legislative strategies. Mr. Hernandez, you're up, sir.
And before Caesar begins speaking, I'll do a quick introduction. One of the things which we began focusing on this year at the very firm direction of our board was our presence both in Tallahassee and Washington, D.C., and our local government relations, how we're interfacing with our city council members, our county commission, et cetera. Part of this led to adding a full-time government relations position on our staff to make sure we were putting the focus which we would like to do on this. We end up being the leader again in the region because our compatriots at Pinellas and most of our other transit agencies do not have a government relations function focused with transit. So this gives us an opportunity to work on our relationships for HART, but also lead for the region. Mr. Hernandez has been on board about a month, getting close to a month, a few weeks. 3 weeks is a month in December, close enough, and had come to the December meeting. You've been reaching out, meeting with a lot of our delegation, and we'll be wrapping up with more of our board members. So with that, I'll turn it over to Caesar. Thank you.
And let me say, Caesar and I have something in common. I was a student body president about 40 years before he became student body president at University of South Florida. So go ahead. That's right. Is that mic on?
Good morning, board members. First, I would just like to say that I am very excited to be a part of this organization. Transportation infrastructure is going to be key for the region as we take leadership, not just in the region, but in the state and hopefully globally. And I am just ecstatic to be a contributing voice to that narrative. So with that being said, we kind of hit the ground running, started about 3 weeks ago, and we talked with the leadership team, and some of the things that we wanted to accomplish was to reach out to our regional leadership, our regional stakeholders, with the aim to kind of cultivate those relationships so as we move forward and prepare to go to Tallahassee, we have done some of that initial legwork. I'm working with both teams, the advocacy group in Tallahassee and Holland and Knight in Washington, D.C. We expect to be going to Tallahassee twice during session. Tentatively, the third week of January, that is the Transportation Committee week, which we will be heading up there with our leadership and with our CEO, as well as I have a conference call this afternoon with the Holland and Knight team in D.C. to see how we can best prepare for federal legislation objectives coming up in this year's session. With that being said, I am looking to work with this group to be on one accord, to talk strategy so that we can go after our policy objectives so that we can continue to be a leader in this region as far as transportation.
That's it, sir?
Yeah, so
Thank you very much.
It's a discussion, so if anybody has any questions, what I'm working on today is I'm looking at this FAST Act that was passed last week. I'm exploring the language in two sections. If you can see section 5310 and 5312, the language seems as though that there will be some opportunities for us in regards to transportation disadvantaged individuals as well as technology use with our fleet. I'm also pouring through the 1,300-page document to see if we have some opportunities for bus and bus facility discretionary funding, as well as there is a new tax extenders bill that hasn't been signed by the president yet, but there are going to be some opportunities for us. And as those things unfold and as I speak with our team in D.C., Holland and Knight, I will be presenting that to this committee as well. But I really wanted to see if anybody had any questions, anything that you think we should be doing strategically in preparation for session.
And briefly, what we really are looking for from our committee today is your guidance. So when we are getting ready to go forward, we're in a better position to know which board members may be interested in joining us in Tallahassee. Commissioner, I know you love to go there yourself. But
Thank you.
I'm certain that your schedule will be a little busy next year, though. But specifically looking for, as we are developing our strategy, you will also have the legislative priorities adopted by this committee in September, well, in August, and the full board in September. But making sure that we are getting this feedback, so as we are with a newer and stronger face in Tallahassee, we're hitting all the right notes. So we are building these relationships that when there is a little bit more opportunity for funding, whether through DOT or directly through our delegation, there is no question, but HART is the right investment for these funds to come back to our county.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I understand that in the tax extenders bill, there was some opportunity for some CNG rebates, and I know that is on our top 5 list. And I think when we made this list, we were looking more in the way of Tallahassee rebates, but I just want to make sure that we, obviously, I'm sure we're going to be looking into that at the federal level, but certainly want to put that out there as a priority. And then, again, I'm really happy that we have this list here of our top 5 asks, but also wondering, embedded in our TDP is a bus facilities priority. And so I was just wondering, in light of what we have at the federal level, do we want to talk about maybe, moving that one up higher in the priority, or is it maybe too early? Maybe this is a discussion item that we come back and report on at our next committee meeting. Where are we at on that?
That is an excellent question. In Caesar's conversations with Holland and Knight, the bus and bus discretionary coming back into effect, or essentially the first time in 10 years that transit agencies have had an opportunity outside of formula, the New Starts and Small Starts and Tiger grants, for us to get some of our money back into Florida. Mm-hmm. It is $65 million your first year, ramps up each year after that, but at this point it's so fresh that the requirements have not been put together. So, as you noted, the 2017 TDP includes a note that we will do a facility study so we can figure out what's the best course of action to expand our capacity. As we get more information coming back on what this bus discretionary facility looks like, we will be modeling that we'll be putting that information into our study, but we will definitely be looking forward to that as it turns into something that we know when we can get those funds and when we should be attacking it. We can put that onto the priorities, but we are talking about this facility in every conversation with DC and every conversation with our delegation members in Tallahassee.
Any other questions or comments? Yes, ma'am.
First of all, I'd like to say welcome. I'm sorry I was traveling Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, so I'm sorry we didn't get together on the phone, but I look forward to working with you. I think this is a really important step on behalf of HART from a perspective of, as the chairman knows, Tallahassee, while those of us that have all spent time there don't necessarily fondly want to go back, it is about relationships and it's about understanding the process and making sure the process is educated on 5 or 6 simple, and it's consistent and it's thorough and you're available. And I think that, HART there's a lot of talk amongst the Florida Council 100 and the Tampa Bay Partnership and the Tampa Bay Chamber about creating some of these areas of regional leadership. And I really do believe that HART is the regional transportation leadership for this area. And we do have, quote unquote, power in Tallahassee for the next couple of years based on those in leadership, and we should maximize that. And so, I hate to say what simple works, but what's simple and consistent works in terms of, funding and priorities. And I'm happy to help be a communicator. I don't travel up to Tallahassee much, but I talk to a lot of the members in both the House and the Senate on a fairly regular basis just on my phone or email. So I will be happy to be a resource in any way I can. And I really applaud this position and your background and look forward to a successful outcome. So welcome.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Let me say, Ms. Hatch, I would be happy to go to Tallahassee, even though I don't jump up and down about going to Tallahassee anymore. I know the importance of those relationships, seeing others face to face while you're up there if you possibly can. Being an election year and they still have not certified or approved any Senate maps yet, what will be getting done this session remains to be seen. But we have to make those trips up there. We have to have those relationships. We have to sit down and talk, if nothing more than chiefs of staffs and legislative assistants. So if I have the availability, I'd be more than happy to go to Tallahassee. Caesar, you're going to have to stay on top of things. I know you will, because of your background. in Tallahassee and Washington, D.C. Washington moves very, very slow, as you know. I mean, at a snail's pace. Tallahassee is very fast because they only have 60 days to get things done. So if it's anything I can do for you, please pick up the phone, give me a call. I'll be more than happy to do whatever I can to help you out. I know you can get the job done, but you're going to need some help, first and foremost. And so those of us that can do it, please pick up the phone and call us, okay?
Okay, fantastic. One thing I did want to add, I am going to be reaching out to each member of the board individually, just to kind of sit down and hash out certain things to manage expectations, because just like Commissioner Miller stated, some things move at a glacial pace. And even though there are going to be some opportunities for funding, before the parameters are even set on a national level, could be a year to a year and a half out. So it sounds exciting. We may be saying these things, but we want to manage those expectations, but we will track those opportunities. But with that being said, I will be reaching out because I do want to have sit downs, because if I am going to be going to Tallahassee, I would like, prior to doing that, for me to be on one accord with my board members and my leadership as well.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Let's revert back to approval of the minutes from the August 17, 2015 Major Projects and Legislative Committee meeting.
Move approval.
There's a motion and second to approve the minutes. Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor, let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposers likewise. Motion is adopted. Public comments. Anyone addressing from the public? You have 3 minutes. Going once, going twice, gone. Committee action items. Mr. Seward? Authorize the Chief Executive Officer to execute a joint partnership agreement.
Move approval.
Okay,
It's FDOT money.
okay. That's A, if I'm not mistaken. There's a motion and a second to approve A. See no discussion. All those in favor, let me know saying aye. Opposed likewise. B, authorize the Chief Executive Officer to execute a joint participation agreement. There's a motion. Second to approve B. See no further discussion. All those in favor, let me know so saying aye. Opposed likewise. Motion is adopted. C. There's a motion to approve C and seconded. See no further discussion. All those in favor, let me know saying aye. Opposed likewise. Motion is adopted. D. Authorize the Chief Executive Officer to transfer 3 revenue vehicles to have reached the end of their useful life to Pasco County. Yes, ma'am.
Are we liable at all when we transfer? I mean, it seems like if it's the end of its viable life and we give it to a county, what's the liability of, is there any in the transfer of the equipment?
No, we assign, once FTA approves the transfer, they are the sole responsibility of the receiving agency.
Okay, good. Move approval.
There's a second to approve D. Seeing the,
Sorry.
sir.
Point of information. In the amended, I just wanted to note that in the amended agenda, it's 3 vehicles instead of the original 5. Just a point of information.
Yes, yes, okay. Any further discussion? Seeing none, there's a motion and a second. All those in favor, let me know by saying aye. Opposers likewise. Thank you for your report, sir.
My pleasure.
Is there any further business to come before us this morning? Any further business? Seeing none, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. We adjourn.